the stars, they showed up. Paolo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, they were dueling. It was a must-win game for the #1 seed, and they delivered. Remember, following a disappointing performance after Game 4, Pistons head coach J.B. Bickerstaff had this to say about how his team would respond.
Come out punching. You know, that I promise you. We're not going to lay down for anybody.
Hard drive by Thompson.
And they didn't. Tobias Harris misses the jumper here, but Asar Thompson right there to clean it up. See if you can identify this trend here early, guys. Cade misses with beef stew.
Offensive rebound.
Right there for the O board.
Bully ball.
And then Dennis Jenkins, he misses, but Cade corrals it with the jam. Yeah, 7 offensive boards. Led to 12 first-quarter points. Second-chance points there for the Pistons. And then Cade had it going here in the second.
He did. He went live. 3-level score, Malika. And you could tell he watched film because he came off the worst playoff game of his young career in Game 4, and he bounced back in great fashion.
And he scored 20 of Detroit's 28 second-quarter points on 71% shooting, no less. So Detroit up 6 at the halftime. But we said this was a duel. Paolo Banchero.
Better get a hand up.
Steps back.
Listen, I criticized Paolo a lot throughout the course of the regular season, but this postseason, he has really, really elevated his game. And last night, this is when you want to see him the most. On the road, in a hostile environment, going toe-to-toe.
He had 45 points in this game, but Cade Cunningham.
Nah, this is my city, though.
There's the dagger.
That's Cade. Snatchback.
Let's take a listen to Cade on if he felt pressure after Game 5.
We all felt it. You have to feel it. We've had a great season so far. None of us wanted to end. So, you got to put it all out there. We dug ourselves a hole, like I said. And, now it's time to climb our way out. But it's possible. We handle our business tonight. We got to go to Orlando and handle our business there.
So Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, they put on a classic in Game 5. They each scored a playoff career high of 45 points, and they're the first pair of opponents to do that since Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray did it in the bubble. Although, if I remember correctly, they had dueling 50
balls.
pieces. That was an insane game. But this one was as well. I will point out, no Franz Wagner, right? That he's been the Cade stopper, and so that may prove to be an issue for the Magic moving forward. But you said, Perk, that this reminded you of another epic battle that you experienced.
It did. In 2008 semifinals, Paul Pierce, LeBron James, Game 7 in the Boston toe-to-toe. I believe Bron had like a 40-point, almost triple-double. Paul Pierce went out there and had, I believe, 45, and they was going toe-to-toe. And I just remember Paul coming in saying, I always protect my house. You ain't getting the win up in here. You know what I mean? And that's the feel that I got last night watching that game with Cade and Paolo, because Paolo came in there and he did what he was supposed to do. He came in there and did what a young rising star, superstar is supposed to do, and Cade responded and did what he was supposed to do, and then you got to protect your crib, and he did that.
Cade certainly did. Jalen Duren, though, is still struggling a bit in this series, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take more of guys kind of involving him in other ways. They got to get him on the glass, doing the dirty work, and not thinking about the game. The moment's got a hold of him right now. Takes time. Shout out to the San Antonio Spurs and Tim Duncan. Like, my leaders, they did a job of talking me out of the moment and making me not be distracted by social media or the media. Timmy, I knew he knew the plays well enough, but in the finals, his teammate texted, where am I supposed to go on this play? Knowing damn well he knows where he's supposed to go, but it had me just thinking and locked in on the challenge at hand and the task that I didn't even worry about the finals or the lights. So if he can get his teammates to be involved or integrate him in conversations and also involve him in offenses, it might let him think about the game less and just be more in the moment. So.
And it's the little things for a big man like Jalen Duren. Real talk. It's the little things, Malika, because it's obvious that he's not going to score a lot of points because the game plan is, they didn't completely, and that's okay, but it's other ways to be effective with that type of size and athleticism. Go be a monster on the glass. Go block 3 or 4 shots. Also, don't slip and roll so quick out of your screens. How about holding your screens a little longer so that Cade and Duncan Robinson could come off and all of a sudden they're getting wide open looks and now you're rolling to the basket looking for offensive rebounds. At this point, there's 6 games in. There's no more, we got to find a way to get Jalen Duren going. No, how can we utilize and maximize? I used to do that for KD and Russ all the time. I knew I wasn't rolling to the basket to receive a ball, so I used to always hold my screens and let them come off, snake action, so they could get into their offense.
But that story is really interesting, Danny, that Tim Duncan would just text you because he wanted to keep you, locked in and engaged.
Yes, not thinking about the game. He was like, hey, in this
do you
play,
think that's what Jalen Duren needs? Is that a lack of, obviously there's not Hall of Famers there yet, but in the future there could be.
You got some vets there. You got Tobias Harris there, but Cade, Tobias, those guys need to take him under their wing and just kind of give him some simple things that he can just focus on. Because I feel like he's overthinking it right now, and the moment is getting a hold of him, and he's not showing up. Again, he can block shots. He can even get some hard fouls. He can do something that impacts the game with your presence. Be big out there. If you be big, it'll change the whole dynamic of this series if he shows up.
Coming back from down 3-1, it's not impossible. The Pistons have done it against the Magic before, but it is an incredibly tall task. I'm looking forward to the playoffs rolling on, but we also are just 8 days away from the WNBA season's tipping off. Preseason action, it's already heating up. And last night, it was all a dream. Angel Reese returned to Chicago, and Atlanta defeated the Sky. And in her preseason debut, Reese scored 8 points. She also added 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 assists in only one half of this preseason play. And how about in Seattle? Did you see what Flage? She scored a team-high 20 points in this game, including 3 of 7 from 3. Only 19 minutes of play, too. Put the storm out.
Microwave.
That's that I'm here moment. A little rookie moment. Every rookie goes through that, Malika, men or women. When you get that first touch of that basketball on this.
Do they have a name?
Birders?
Maybe Birders. We'll ask Dolan here in a minute, because we have Game 6 matchups tonight in the NBA. Timberwolves and Nuggets, Celtics and Sixers. Sports betting analyst Erin Dolan with us now. She doesn't know anything about birders, so we'll just get right to the basketball. I can just tell by her face. Let's start with the Sixers and Celtics. Boston lost its closeout situation in Game 5. Still favored to get the job done tonight in Philly. Which play do you like most in Game 6?
I'm looking at the total. I would go over 212.5. As for the totals in this series, they continue to drop. In Game 1, it was 223.5, and you can tell that obviously defense has come up key, considering 4 of the 5 games have gone under. But I think this total has been adjusted too much. Now, Philly got the surprising Game 5 win. They went on a 19-5 run, and Joel Embiid had 33 points that he dropped in that game. So that was a really surprising win. But as for Boston, they shot 28% from 3. So I'm expecting some positive shooting regression for them, as well as Philly, just to keep this scoring going. Again, I like the total to go over 212.5.
So here's one that's getting interesting series-wise. The Nuggets backs against the wall going into enemy territory tonight in Minnesota. But again, Minnesota, no Anthony Edwards, no Dante DiVincenzo. They won the game, Denver did, to get back in this series against the T-Wolves. How would you bet this matchup?
So I look at Denver in the first half, -2.5. Denver got the win last game. They actually looked good. They won by 12 points, but they were up by 9 points at half. And I think we're going to see a similar situation here, especially with the line at -2.5. It actually did just move to -3.5. I wouldn't go any higher than that. But like the significant injuries you just mentioned, Matt, this is really going to allow Denver's defense to really focus on some of the other role players on Minnesota's team. And this is just one of the spots that I think Denver can be very successful, even if they're playing on the road. So I'll look at them at the first half, -2.5.
Yeah, this looks like it's got 7 games written all over it, especially with the injuries Minnesota could not afford. Here we go. This is when it gets real. Like, those picks were great, but it's parlay time. Let's go. Give me your parlay tonight.
All right, well, I'm going to look at some of the milestone markets right now on DraftKings and look at some of the stars. That's Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and Nikola Jokic. For them to all have at least 25 or more points. So all 4 of these players right now are averaging 25 points in their respective series. And this is just a fun parlay, Matt, like you had said, that you can kind of just combine all these guys who are playing really well. And this is available right now on DraftKings under Rollin' with Dolan.
We're going to roll with Dolan so hard. This is going to be fantastic. An Aaron Dolan parlay on a Thursday. What else could you want for? Juicy. Aaron.